John, I would like to continue to share the elements of Yogi Raman's fable with you, but before I do this, I must confirm something. We are living in a very troubled world, negatively pervades it, and many in our society are floating like ships without rudders. Weary souls searching for lighthouse that will keep them from crashing against the rocky shores. You must serve as a captain of sorts. I am placing my trust in you to take the message of the sages of Sivana to all those who need to hear it. After consideration, I promised Julian with conviction that I would accept this assignment. He then continued passionately. The beauty of whole exercise is that as you strive to improve the lives of others, your own life will be elevated into its highest dimensions. This truth is based on ancient paradigm for extraordinary living. I am all ears. Basically, the sages of Himalaya guided their lives by a simple rule. He who serves the most reaps the most emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. This is the way to inner peace and outer fulfillment. I once read that people who study others are wise, but those who study themselves are enlightened. Here, perhaps for the first time, I saw a man who truly knew himself, perhaps his highest self. This brings me to the lighthouse, said Julian, remaining focused on the task at hand. I was wondering how that fit into Yogi Raman's fable. You will recall that in the middle of the garden stood a magnificent lighthouse. This symbol will remind you of yet another ancient principle of enlightened living. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. Those who are truly enlightened know what they want out of life, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Clearly defined priorities and goals for every aspect of your life will serve a role similar to that played by lighthouse, offering you guidance and refuge when the seas become rough. Julian transported me back to the time when Yogi Raman explained this principle with him. He recalled the sage's exact words, "Life is funny," observed Yogi Raman. One would think that the less one worked, the more one would have the chance to experience happiness. However, the real source of happiness can be stated in word achievement. Lasting happiness comes from steadily working to accomplish your goals and advancing confidently in the direction of your life's purpose. Workaholic monks quite the opposite. While the sages were tremendously productive people, their productivity was not of the frenetic types, instead it was the peaceful, focused, Zen-like kind. The sages of Sivana didn't waste time. Their collective conscience told them that their lives had a purpose and they had duty to fulfill. This is what Raman Yogi said to me. Achievements needn't be of the material sort. Personally, my objectives are to attain peace of mind, self-mastery, and enlightenment. If I fail to accomplish these goals by the end of my life, I am certain that I will die feeling unfulfilled and dissatisfied. Julian told me that that was the first time he had heard any of his teachers in Sivana speak of their own mortality. And Yogi Raman sensed this in my expression. You needn't worry, my friend. I have already lived past of the age of 100 and I have no plans for quick exit. My point was simple, that when you clearly know what aims you wish to achieve over the course of your life, be they material, emotional, physical, or spiritual, and you spend your days accomplishing them, you will ultimately find eternal joy. Your life will be as delightful as mine, and you will come to know a splendid reality, but you must know your life's aim and then manifest this vision into reality by consistent action, which sages call this dharma, which is the Sanskrit word for life's purpose. Lifelong contentment will come from the fulfillment of my dharma. I asked. Most certainly, dharma is based on an ancient principle that says every one of us has a heroic mission whilst we walk on this earth. We have all been granted a unique set of gifts, talents that will readily allow us to realize this life work. The key is to discover them, and in doing so, discover the main objective of your life. Over the course of next few hours, I learned from Julian that all highly developed, fully actualized people understand the importance of exploring their talents, uncovering their personal purpose, and then applying their human gifts in the direction of this calling. The key is to have the discipline and vision to see your heroic mission and to ensure that it serves others people while you realize it. Is this a form of goal setting? Goal setting is the starting point. Mapping out the objectives and goals releases the creative juices which get you on to the path of your own purpose. Believe it or not, Yogi Raman and other sages were very hot on goals. You are creating highly effective monks who meditate all night and set goals all day. I love it. Yogi Raman said people spend their whole life dreaming of becoming happier, living with more vitality, and having an abundance of passion. Yet they do not see the importance of taking even 10 minutes a month to write out their goals and think deeply about meaning of their lives, their dharma. Goal setting make your life magnificent. Your world will become richer, more delightful, and more magical. You see, Julian, our ancestors have taught us that setting clearly defined objectives for what we desire in our mental, physical, and spiritual world is critical to their realization. Anyone who wishes to improve the quality of their inner as well as outer worlds would do well to take out a piece of paper and start writing out their life aims. At the very moment that is done, natural forces will come into play which start to transform these dreams into reality. What I was hearing fascinated me. When I was a football player in high school, my coach had constantly spoken of the importance of knowing what he wanted from every game. Our team wouldn't dream of stepping into a playing field without a clear game plan that would lead us to victory. I wondered why, as I had grown older, I had never taken the time to develop a game plan for my own life. Maybe Julian and Yogi Raman had something here. What is so special about writing out your goal? How could such a simple act make such a difference? I asked. Julian was delighted. By writing out your desires and goals on the piece of paper, you send a red flag to your subconscious mind that these thoughts are far more important than any others. You change your life the moment you set your goals and start to seek out your dharma. Julian said, his eyes sparkling with truth of his words. Have you ever met someone with a strange name and then started to notice that news appearing in newspapers, on the television, or at the office? This is but one illustration of the ageless principle Yogi Raman called Joriki, which I have since learned means concentrated mind. Concentrate every ounce of your mental energy on self-discovery. Learn what you excel at and what makes you happy. Whatever it is, find your passion and then follow it. Now that I really think about it, it would be sad to reach the end of my life without realizing that I had some special genius that would have unlocked my potential and helped others even in a small way. That's right. So from this moment onwards, be accurately aware of your aim in life. Awaken your mind to the abundance of possibilities around you. Start to live with more zest. The human mind is world's largest filtering device. When you decide to start concentrating your mind on your life's aim, your mind starts to filter unimportant and focus only on important. To tell you the truth, I think it is about time. I discovered my purpose. I said, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great things in my life, but it isn't as rewarding as I think it could be. How does that make you feel? Depressed, I offered with total honesty. I have talent. Actually, I was one heck of good artist when I was younger. When I painted, I was in heaven. I lost track of time when I was in a studio painting. I would get lost in the canvas. I was almost as if I transcended time and moved into another dimension. John, this is the power of concentrating your mind on a pursuit that you love. Maybe your dharma is to brighten the world with lovely scenes. At least start spending a little time painting every day. How about applying this philosophy to things less esoteric than changing my life? Let's say one of my aims, although a minor one, was to drop the spare tire I am carrying around my waist. Where I start? Julian told me the sages of Shivana had created a 5-step methods to reach their objectives and fulfill the purposes of their lives. The first step was to form a clear mental image of the outcome. If this was to lose weight, Julian told me that every morning, just after I woke up, I was to envision myself as a lean, fit person full of vitality and boundless energy. Step 2 was to get some positive pressure on myself. Pressure can inspire you to achieve great ends. People generally achieve magnificent things when their backs are up against the wall and they are forced to tap into wellspring of human potential that lies within them. How can I create this positive pressure on myself? I ask now, thinking about possibilities of applying this method to everything from getting up early to being a more patient and loving father. One of the best is public place. Tell everyone you know that you will lose the excess weight, whatever your goal might be. Once you make your goal known to the world, there will instantly be pressure on you to look towards its fulfillment since no one likes to look like failure. When you train your mind to associate pressure with good habits and punishment with bad ones, your weaknesses will quickly fall by the wayside. You said there were 5 steps to follow to make my desires come true. Said impatiently, what are the remaining 3? Yes, John, the third stage is the simple one. Never set a goal without attaching a timeline to it. To breathe life into the goal, you must attach a precise. Remember that a goal that is not committed to paper is no goal at all. Go out and buy a journal, a cheap coil notepad will do. Call this your dream book and fill it with all your desires, objectives, and dreams. Get to know yourself and what you are all about. Don't I already know myself? Most people don't. The Chinese define image in 3 terms. There are 3 mirrors that form a person's reflection. The first is how you see yourself, the second is how others see you, and the third mirror reflects the truth. Know yourself, John. Know the truth. Divide your dream book into separate sections for goals relating to the different areas of your life. For example, you might have section for your physical fitness goals, your financial goals, your personal empowerment goals, your relationship and social goals, and perhaps most importantly, your spiritual goals. Hey, that sound like fun. I have never thought about doing something as creative as that for myself, I said. Another particularly effective technique I learned to fill your dream book with pictures of the things you desire and images of the people who cultivated the abilities, talent, and qualities that you hope to emulate. If you want to lose weight and be in outstanding physical shape, paste a picture of marathon runner or an elite athlete in your dream book. If you want to be world's finest husband, why not clip out the picture of someone who represents this, perhaps your father, and put it into journal in the relationship section. Then review this book daily, even for a few minutes. Make it your friend. The results will be startled. My wife would love to have dream book. She would probably fill it with pictures of me without my notorious belly. It's really not that big, Julian suggested in consoling tone. Then does Jenny call me Mr. Donut? I said, breaking into a broad smile. Julian started to laugh. I had to follow. Soon the two of us howling on the floor. I guess if you can't laugh at yourself, who can laugh at? I said, still giggling. Very true, my friend. When I changed to my former lifestyle, one of my main problems was that I took life too seriously. Now I am much more playful and childlike. I enjoy all of life's gifts, no matter how small they are. But I have digressed. Once you have formed a clear mental picture of your outcome, created a little pressure behind it, set a deadline, and committed it to the paper, the next step is to apply what Raman Yogi called the magic rule of 21. The learned men and women of this world believed that for the new behavior crystallized into a habit, you have to perform the new activity for 21 days in a row. What's so special about 21 days? The only way to permanently install a new habit is to direct so much energy toward it that the old one slips away like an unwelcome house guest. The installation is generally complete in about 21 days, the time it takes to create a new neural pathway, say I wanted to start practicing the heart of the rose technique to erase the worry habit and live at a more peaceful place. Do I have to do it at the same time every day? Good question. The only reason to do something is because you want to and because you know it is the right thing for you to do. My suggestion is that you try the heart of the rose method at the same time every day and in the same place every day. There is tremendous power in the ritual. When you insert any activity into your routine by doing it the same way at the same time every day, it quickly grows into a habit. Soon you will be performing a new habit with the same ease that you will feel while brushing your teeth. The first step for attaining goals and advancing along the path of purpose, I wondered. The final step in the Sage's method of one that is equally applicable as you advance along the path of your life. The Sages of Sivana truly believed that a day without laughter or a day without love was a day without life. Never forget the importance of living with unbridled exhilaration. Never neglect to see the exquisite beauty of all living things. Remain spirited, joyful, and curious. Stay focused on your life work and on giving selfless service to others. The universe will take care of everything else. This is one of the nature's truest laws. Is that it? I still have much wisdom to share with you. Are you tired? Not in the least. Actually, I feel pretty pumped up. You are quite the motivator, Julian. Have you ever thought about infomercial? I asked mischievously. I don't understand, he replied gently. Never mind. Just one of my feeble attempts at humor. Okay, before you move along with Yogi Raman's fables, there is one last point about reaching your goals and dreams that I would like to impress on you. Go for it. There is one word which the sages spoke of almost reverential term. The simple words seemed to carry a depth of meaning for them, and it appeared their daily talk. The word I am speaking of is passion, and is a word you must constantly keep at the forefront of your mind. A burning sense of passion is a most potent fuel for your dreams. Here in our society, we have lost our passion. We do not do things because we love to do them. We do things because we feel we have to do them. This is the formula for misery. Reclaim the joy of waking up every morning full of energy, exhilaration. Breathe the fire of passion into all that you do. You will quickly reap great material as well as spiritual rewards. You make it sound so easy. It is from tonight onwards, take control of your life. Decide once and for all to be the master of your fate. Discover your calling, and you will start to experience the ecstasy of an inspired life. Finally, always remember that what lies behind you and what lies in front of you is nothing when compared to what lies within you. Thanks, Julian. I really needed to hear this. I never realized all that was lacking in my life until tonight. Things are going to change. I promise you. I am grateful for this. You are welcome, my friend. I am fulfilling my purpose.